All right, freshmen, here we go. We're ready for our next project, and it's called the Chicken Coop Design. It was originally a Colorado School of Mines project in one of their Intro to Architectural Design classes. And the scenario is basically this. You are now, welcome to Colorado. You're now in Colorado, and you're going to design a chicken coop. And you need to make sure your chicken coop meets all the needs of the chickens. So let me pull up an image here. Here's a potential. Let's say that this is one of your designs. Now, you're in Colorado. In Colorado, it gets very cold in the winter. So you need to make sure that your chicken coop is well enough insulated that your hens stay warm so they're laying eggs throughout the winter. Now, on that note, in Louisville and Lafayette and Broomfield and Erie and most of Boulder County, you're allowed to have up to 6 hens in your backyard. You can't have any roosters because they're too noisy, but you can have up to 6 hens. Okay, so keeping them warm throughout the winter so that they're laying eggs year-round is really important. But at the same time, you want it to have good ventilation so that during the summer when the sun's beating down on it, they're not cooking. Other important things about your chicken coop, you want to make sure it has a nice entrance, easy way that your chickens can get in and out of the coop so that they can be free range during the day, but at night when you're having to worry about things like raccoons and skunks and foxes and coyotes potentially eating them, that they can go back into their coop and it could be easily locked up so that the predators of Colorado can't get to them. Also, you need to be able to harvest the eggs, and you don't want to have to crawl into the chicken coop because it's kind of gross inside there. So you see this flap right here is easily opened and closed, so you can get in and harvest eggs and then close it. Or if you need to, when you need to change their bedding and clean out the chicken coop, you can easily access it that way so that you can change it up. You also notice that most chicken coops are elevated off the ground. That's because the ground has a lot of moisture in it, and so if you have your chicken coop just sitting in a puddle of water or snow, it's going to rot pretty quickly. So typically you're going to use a pressure treated material, wood material, on this base and elevate your chicken coop up from that, and then the rest of it probably doesn't need to be pressure treated. Now, this project is the chicken coop design, and the expectation is that all of you will be designing a chicken coop. Now, the only exceptions to that will be if you are making something else for a pet that you currently have and you are actually going to make the finished product. My hope is that you do actually make this product, but with the chicken coop it could easily cost $100 or $200, so you really need to get your parents involved in seeing, do they really want this? Do they want chickens? Are they willing to pay for this, or at least pay for most of it? Because I don't expect you to go out and spend $100 or $200. Also, for the power tools that are involved to make these types of projects, I'm not giving you permissions to use power tools at your house because I don't want my students to be cutting their fingers off. And then also you can't really expect to do it here because we've got 150 freshmen and there's no way I have the time to go back and forth between the classroom and the back room to be cutting material for 150 students. So this is going to be a project that you design in the classroom and you construct at home. And you have until April or whenever you need until you actually make it. So if you are one of those groups that say, I have a different pet and I want to design for it, that is a possibility. So most of you should plan on, yes, you are designing a chicken coop. And so let's say you're going to do a chicken coop. One of the first things you have to do is figure out what materials you're actually going to use. So you're going to go to homedepot.com or Lowe's.com, and when you get onto their websites, you're going to find lumber. So for example, here's lumber, and you have a list of all kinds of stuff, but I'll go ahead and just click on it. And let's say we're looking for some lumber, some studs here. So I'll just click on this and I'll open it up, and we got a bunch of stuff in here. Now what's typically called, let's say a 2x6. Here's a 2x6 of material right here. Let's say, oh, okay, I'm going to do that. Well, is it really 2 inches by 6 inches? No, it's not. And almost no lumber is actually the dimensions of its nominal name. So if we go to specifications, when you open something up, you're going to see, oh, what we called 2x6, which means nominal, that's its actual name, a 2x6. It's not really 2x6. It's really 1.5 by 5.5. And you'll find that that's true for pretty much all lumber out there. Now, the length usually is exactly what it was specified as. So if this says it's 92 5/8 inches, it probably is 92 5/8 inches. So that's something you need to know. So when you're designing, and this is a SolidWorks project, when you're designing on SolidWorks, you need to make sure you are designing based on the dimensions and the material that you've found. Okay? So some other designs, you may say, well, Mr. Katie, we're not going to do chickens. My family won't do chickens, but we have cats. So I want to make them a cat tower. Okay, that's great. If you go to Costco, a cat tower like this or a cat condo can easily cost $100, or PetSmart or Petco or whatever. You could probably make this for about $30. Okay, most of what this is just some plywood planks in here with carpet on it and PVC pipes with rope wrapped around it. Okay, so that's most of what you're seeing here, and it's actually very doable. So this is something you could design that would be much cheaper than actually going to the store and buying it, and it'd be fun. So if you have cats and you're saying, yes, you know what, I actually am going to make a cat tower for my cats, great. You can do that as a project. Here's Paris Hilton's doghouse right here. So if you have dogs, and this thing costs $300,000. So I'm not saying you have to design a $300,000 doghouse, but I would say if we look up doghouses, what I don't expect to see is just a very basic, just 4 sides with a slanted roof. That's not what I'm looking for. If you design a doghouse that has, actually let's go back here. If you design here's one, that's great. One of the students has already decided they're going to design this doghouse. That looks good. That's really challenging. Okay, or here's a nice doghouse. Okay, so you're not just making a shell, you actually have to make the structure behind this. So if we look at doghouses and we pan down a little bit, you're going to see that some of the stuff that here's a great image right here. What's actually going on in a doghouse? Okay, so you've got probably either 2x4s or 2x2s. This is a smaller dog, so it's made with 2x2s, but you've got a frame going on here, and that's basically the skeleton of this whole thing. And then we could use something like plywood or some other kind of sheet to encase it. Okay, but you really are going to have a frame and then the casing on the outside, so plan on that. Something like this would not be great because, first of all, it's plastic, so it's probably made with plastic injection molding. But also, if you're going to be using wood and make it subterranean, it's going to rot pretty quickly. Something like this is a nice design showing how they used 2x4 to build the structure, the framing of this, and then they enclosed it with plywood. Okay, so other possible designs, if you're going to make a birdhouse, this is a possibility for a birdhouse. Now what I expect not to see are just a basic birdhouse that's 4 sides with a slanted roof. So let me show you what I don't want to see. I don't want to see this. Okay, although it's totally functional and birds, maybe they prefer it, it's just too easy. And this is a design class and I expect you to do something more challenging. So this is getting a little more challenging right here. And you'll look and see some of these birdhouses are very challenging and they probably mimic the house that they're at. So that would be a fun challenge also. And you can see here's a bunch of them right here. And I'd say any of these are possibilities where you're using lots of different materials and there's many different layers built onto it. Okay, again, if you're doing something other than chicken coop design, you actually have to make this thing. Okay, so there's birdhouse. There was another example I think I put on here. Let's see, what did I have? Birdhouse, chicken coop, cats, dogs, any of those can work for this project. You all have to assume you're doing a chicken coop unless you run something else by me and I approve it. And the only way I'm going to approve it is if it's something that you're actually going to build for an actual pet. Although if that's not the case, then you are making a chicken coop design. Okay, and one other thing you need to know is that this video, obviously, was linked right here at the 10-point, the first 10 points, because what you're going to do is you're going to take your idea that you come up with, you're going to go down to the 2013, 2014 projects, or you're going to you're going to go to whichever link is appropriate for your year, and you're going to click on it, and you're going to add your presentation to that year. And then you call me over and you show me, and I will give you your first 10 points of this assignment. Okay, in about 2 weeks, the assignment's going to become a 50-point assignment. At that point, all of your parts should be designed with the real dimensions and the real materials that you found from Home Depot and Lowe's, and you should have recorded how much of each material you're planning on buying and using, and how much they cost per unit, and how much the total cost is. That'll be your 50-point assignment in about 2 weeks.